take us through the statement.
Thank you very much, officials, members of the media. The year 2019 presents South Africa and South Africans with the most important opportunity for social and political change since 1994. In no other year will the vote of each and every South African be as critical as in 2019. This means citizens who want change must vote in their numbers, because this opportunity will never come again for many years to come. We therefore call on all young people in South Africa to come out in their numbers this coming weekend on the 26th to 27th January 2019 to register to vote for EFF. Young people must take a decision that they will not leave it only to elderly and middle-aged citizens to determine political power and direction of society, as it has been the case for the past 25 years. We must all adopt an attitude that says, nothing about us without us. Register to vote EFF in 2019. We have observed the ANC disrupting schooling in the name of voter registration, where their volunteers have been going into schools to address learners during school hours. This disruption has been allowed by principals who are aligned to the ANC, and it must come to an end. We call on the Department of Education to intervene and stop this madness of this anti-intellectual bunch who disrupt schooling for political gymnastics. The leadership structure of the EFF, comprising of 52 regional command teams, 9 provincial command teams, the central command team, gathered at Imvelo Lodge, Mangaung, Free State over the last weekend to consider the EFF National Elections Manifesto and national list of individuals to serve in provincial legislatures and parliament. We are proud to announce that this assembly discussed the EFF manifesto in detail, and that the central command team has since adopted it. This manifesto will be launched on the 2nd of February 2019 at a manifesto rally to be held at Giant Stadium in Soshanguve, Tshwane. Accordingly, the conference also took nomination for public representatives. Herewith is the outline of the process that was followed. First, each region met within the regional list assembly to nominate public representatives for legislature in each province-to-province list. The entire list for provincial representatives was then compiled into one single ballot in provincial list assembly. Each province then met to consider nominations for parliament, national to national list, and a single ballot was compiled and confirmed by entire plenary of the assembly. This was followed by voting for province to province list and national to national list simultaneously through a secret ballot. This rigorous democratic process resulted in the entire cohort of candidates from the commander-in-chief to ordinary EFF members being subjected to a secret ballot. This process will be concluded by the National List Committee, constituted by national officials of the EFF, which has the responsibility to come up with the final list of public representatives of the EFF at provincial and national level. The National List Committee will, amongst other things, take into consideration aspects like gender balance, continuity, youth representation, geographic spread, and will also do the vetting to check criminal record, credit record, political and organizational behavioral conduct of each candidate. It will also look at the social conduct of all candidates within society in general and how society receives them. The EFF notes that Solomon Simang has resigned as the Tshwane mayor, stating as his reasons the need to focus exclusively on the election campaign for premiership of Gauteng. The reasons offered are unconvincing, and therefore we do not accept this and dismiss them as frivolous. Their intent is to cover up a much deeper problem in the white-dominated DA caucus of the Tshwane Metro Council. If we are to accept these reasons, then it must mean that there are different rules for black people in the DA. This is because Helen Zille campaigned for the position of Premier of Western Cape, while she held the positions of the Mayor of the City of Cape Town and DA national leader. The EFF will closely monitor developments in Tshwane, and when the time to elect a new mayor comes, we will announce our course of action. The EFF is not surprised by revelations of massive acts of corruption leveled by the former COO of Bosasa, Mr. Angelo Agrizzi, at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry hearing. Mr. Agrizzi's evidence has ushered the country into another network of corruption, money laundering, and state capture facilitated by a powerful white man, Mr. Gavin Watson. Many prominent politicians of the ANC, as expected, members of the NPA and Correctional Service have been implicated in despicable acts of money laundering and corruption allegations. As a point of departure, we call upon heightened security and protection of Mr. Agrizzi because some of the individuals he has implicated in his testimony have a history of killing those who they disagree with, as far back as in the MK camp of Quattro in exile. Furthermore, call on Nomvula Mokonayne, Gwede Mantashe, Balega Mbete, Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakula to all resign from both Parliament and Cabinet. In making the call, we place emphasis on Mokonayne, who has been swimming in a pool of scandals throughout her term as a cabinet member. If the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has not acted on her to this day, it must be because he too is a beneficiary of her corrupt activities. Ramaphosa, as the President of the Republic, must call an open press conference and take the country into confidence about his dealings with Bosasa. This must be a press conference in which journalists will be able to ask open questions. His explanation in Parliament regarding Bosasa has exposed him as having lied, since both his son and Bosasa contradicted him. He must further produce credible evidence demonstrating that he has indeed paid the alleged 500,000 that he wrongfully received for his campaign as ANC president, as he promised to do so. Failure to do so will lead the EFF requesting Parliament to turn the State of the Nation address into the President answering questions on his involvement in the Bosasa Gate. We give the President until the end of January to comply with the above, failing which we will write to the Speaker of the National Assembly to convert the SONA into question and answering session for the President. The EFF calls on the National Director of Public Prosecution, Advocate Shamila Batoi, to pursue all those who are implicated in Bosasa without any fear or favor. She must accordingly review all NPA decisions ever taken on Bosasa, and all those in the NPA who are implicated in Bosasa must resign with immediate effect. South Africa suffered for a full 9 years of kleptocratic nightmares facilitated by Jacob Zuma as the President of the Republic. Upon his removal, Zuma did warn South Africa that even those in the ANC who call him corrupt are the most corrupt and will be exposed. South Africans must simply ask how it is that to this day, Ramaphosa has not been referred to the ANC Integrity Committee given his implication in Bosasa. The silence of the Ramaphosa Defence Force and Stratcom regarding Bosasa on social media and traditional media platforms is shocking, to say the least. Soon, the people of South Africa will witness the alliance of the Zuma and Ramaphosa groups uniting to discredit Agrizzi. It is clear that even the leadership of the DA is implicated in the Bosasa crimes against the public purse. We call on other companies like Bidvest to be exposed in how their dealings with government have also been facilitated. Taken the scale of business contract Bidvest enjoys with the state, it is possible that they too have behaved in the same way that Bosasa has to secure their dominance. Finally, we reiterate our call on the State Capture Commission of Inquiry Secretary to resign following the fact that he is implicated in the Bosasa scandal. He cannot serve as an official in a commission that he has evidence about his own involvement in corruption. This results in a clear conflict of interest. We wrote a letter to Justice Zondo to inquire about the process followed to procure the venue of the commission. Justice Zondo referred us to the Secretary of the Commission in November, and to this day, Bosasa beneficiary has not responded. We still demand full disclosure of the process followed to secure the Tiso Black Star venue and the amounts involved. We warned Justice Zondo and the nation about the commission taking place in a building owned by Sunday Times. Today, it is Justice Zondo who's complaining about the media leaking sensitive commission information in pursuit of profit. In addition to the profit motive, they do it to intimidate witnesses that will release information that is not in their favor and promote witnesses that will reveal information that is in line with their agenda to promote Ramaphosa. We reject SANEF's attempt to intimidate the State Capture Commission by invoking freedom of expression. If they had any problems with any of the regulations governing the commission, they should have challenged them in court of law. What is more concerning is that SANEF itself is a beneficiary of Bosasa dirty money. All we want to hear from SANEF is, when will they pay back the money? In all of these major corruption scandals that have rocked the country recently, from the Guptas, VBS Mutual Bank and Bosasa, I can confidently say the EFF is the only political party that has not received dirty money. The people of South Africa must realize that no one, not even Ramaphosa in the ANC, is above the corruption that has characterized the past 25 years of ANC rule. We still have fresh scars of Ramaphosa's involvement in the brutal murder of the mine workers in Marikana. Even with Ramaphosa at the helm of the ANC, there is no new dawn. The ANC remains the African national corruption it always was under Zuma. We have no business sending such corrupt men and women back into government in their Tumamina project. Tumamina is an ANC project led by Ramaphosa to send each other to steal more money from the poor. The true ANC manifesto is what Agrizzi is presenting in the State of Capture Commission. I thank you.
Thank you very much, CIC. So I'm going to ask that we take the first round of questions from the rest of you guys. Number 1, number 2, number 3. So those who are behind cameras, if you can rise so I see your hand. Is there no one else? Number 4. Anyone else? Okay, let's start with number 4.
Karine Plessis, I'm working on a picture for, it's a little bit different to what you were talking about now. It's on Uganda. So yeah, I'm getting you left field as well. On Bobby Wine, Mr. Malema, I'm just curious to know what is your opinion on what's happening in Uganda and what influenced somebody like Bobby Wine, the opposition politician and musician. He's the same age as you. What influence do you think he has on the politics in Uganda as well as the continent? Thanks.
Number 3.
Innocent from Loveworld News. So, CIC, you spoke about opportunities and you urged young people to go vote for the EFF. Is there a challenge today which has prompted some young people to entrepreneurship, but they face challenges, funding, crippling economy, weak currency. What is it that the EFF will do? What is it to ensure that young entrepreneurs get a conducive environment to flourish?
Number 2. Good afternoon, Alvin Sinclair from ENCA. On the party political funding bill, where does the EFF stand on that? Because last time, I think Kwena said that the party will be challenging the bill if it is passed in its current form, and indeed the bill has now been acceded by the president of the country. So what's the next step for the EFF? And then on turning so much into a question and answer session, the EFF has been here before, Uganda and pay back the money, and the Speaker of Parliament at the time refused to turn that session of SONA during President Jacob Zuma's term into a question and answer session. What posture will the EFF be taking if the Speaker of Parliament yet again refuses to turn that session into a Q&A?
Number 1.
Cheryl Hakuchi from the Daily Maverick. Good afternoon. I read in the Ipsos poll that the EFF is sitting at 9%. The IRR poll puts you a little bit lower. In your own research, where do you think the EFF will come out in the national and provincial elections? And the second question is in relation to your call for the resignation of political office bearers and politicians named in the Zondo Commission of Inquiry's latest hearings. Don't you think it's a double standard to call for their resignation, while with your own national office bearers on VBS, you haven't made a similar call? Thank you.
President. Let's start with the VBS. You see, Ferial, none of our office bearers is named in any VBS report. Let's just have an honest discussion. So, Terry releases a report. Show me in the report, Ferial, where an official of the EFF is named. Just show me. Because you have been going on with this narrative that EFF officials are named in VBS report. Where? Give me a page that official will resign with immediate effect. The same thing we're asking from government people. I said this here in October, and I'm repeating it here again. That time you said the deputy president of the EFF received 10 million. I said to you, the press conference, I said, I'm not scared of the deputy president of the EFF. If I find an evidence that implicates him, he will be dealt with politically and organizationally through the structures of the EFF. That was in October 2018. We are today in January, New Year. There's no any evidence. Ferial, the only source document for VBS is Terry Mutaung's report. Now, Terry Mutaung's report, the real report, doesn't implicate any of the EFF officials. We need to agree on that. Then let's go to the sub-report which is circulating underground, which we have not received ourselves. The annexures. We have asked that the annexures must come forward. What is the late of the Poli? Poli, we asked Poli, give us the annexures. Poli, even in the annexures, nowhere does she say that there is an EFF official implicated in the VPS or the EFF. Nowhere, not even annexures. When you ask me or this leadership to act on Floyd, for instance, that we must suspend him, we must expel him, you are actually calling for the division of the party because we will not have any explanation to give to our members. We need to have a political, organizational reason why we are acting in the manner we are doing. Floyd will take us to court and he will win because he will arrive in court with a copy of Terry's report and annexed us and just stand it before a judge. Show me in the report where they talk about me. I will not have a page. Yes.
So the Zondo Commission of Inquiry has said at the top of Angelo testimony, that it's not hearsay, but it is testimony. It hasn't all of it been checked yet. So in that sense, it's probably similar to the report.
It is not. It is not. And you know that better than me. That is a statement under oath. It's not a Polyphon vague report, which we are not sure is written under the tree. Or anyway, it's not under oath. Agrizzi's report cannot be compared with an article written by Polyphon vague. Agrizzi's report is evidence under oath. And to show that there is prima facie on that evidence, the state is now providing protection to Agrizzi because they understood the magnitude of the type of evidence he's presenting. So you cannot compare the two. You have been in the field for a very long time and you know that very well, that the two are not comparable. That's why I'm saying here that we can confidently and unashamedly say of VBS, of Bosasa, of Guptas, you will not find the leadership of the EFF anywhere. I know that you looked for us everywhere. That's why we kept quiet. We didn't want you to say we disturbed you in your investigation. We kept quiet throughout to give you sufficient time to even go into the archives of Bosasa. I called Mbalula, I said, since you are involved in this oversized tracksuits of Olympics where they say you took the money, I hope you are not going to find you in this Bosasa. He reminded me and said, Julius, from your time when you were in the ANC, when have you ever heard me or you or any of us talking about Bosasa? Look at the history of Bosasa. If we had any dealing, you would know you are going to be involved. So I'm not talking about only now in the EFF, even in the ANC times. I was never involved with the Guptas. The most corrupt man, Julius Malema, you will never find him in the most obvious corrupt scandals. Guptas, VBS, Bosasa were nowhere. We know the attempt to discredit the EFF. That's why you talk about the research of 9%. You must go and ask your friends who gave you this research now. Where did they put the EFF in 2013 and subsequently 2014? It is the same people, some of them, who said the EFF will get 1%. And then on the eve of 2014 elections, they said 4%. The highest was 4%. Why should I listen to them now? When they put me at 9%, I'm very happy. You know why? It means I've not lost a single vote. I don't want to lose a single vote, because it means there is one person who regrets voting for the EFF. But even if I get one vote extra, it means I've done what the people have sent me to Parliament to do, and I've even attracted one extra. The only loss for the EFF in the coming elections will be to go below where we are now. Otherwise, we are going forward. Yeah. We are growing. And even those who hate us, they acknowledge that we are a party that is growing faster than all of these political parties. My sister, we like research. We do research in our own individual capacity at school, but we don't think that research is relevant on these political issues. We are not doing research in the EFF. We are doing groundwork. We are on the ground. We are talking to our people directly. So I don't want to lie to you and say there is a research of the EFF which says 25%. There's no such a thing. There's no research conducted in the EFF. We are talking to our people, and the reception on the ground is overwhelming. When you get into shops, when you get at the airport, when you get into the malls, in the hospitals, the workers are extremely happy. So anyone who wants this country to be in good hands, you know where to find the EFF. We are the ones who are guarding this country. This country would have collapsed by now. I hear SANEF saying it established a state capture commission. What a shameful claim. We spend millions. We spend millions to establish this commission. We fought. Communist Party says it was the first one to say there must be a state capture commission. It's easy to tweet. It's very cheap to tweet. You just need 1 gig and write, we need state capture commission. What do you do about it? We didn't just tweet. We fought battles. That's why last time when they said we are intimidating the commission, I was so irritated that how can we spend so many millions to establish this commission? When Zuma tried to stop the report, we fought. When Zuma refused to establish the commission, we went to court. And to go to those courts, it's a lot of money. A lot of money. We used the money of the EFF for this commission to take place. So that's what we do for South Africa. When the country was collapsing under Zuma's kleptocracy, we defended this country. This country, we want at the beginning, and I'm happy that We live in an era where there are videos, and the black Twitter is doing a very good job because it just goes into archives and bring it to light. We warned about Ramaphosa. We warned about the New Dawn. We warned about Ramaphosa Defense Force. We warned about Stratcom. Even when Ramaphosa is implicated in Bosasa, Sunday Times still wants to tell us about Jacob Zuma. Hey, Mona, how can Jacob Zuma be in headline now about corruption? Once they say Zuma is involved in a corruption, there's no need to breaking news. The headline must be obvious. Zuma is also. How can Zuma be involved in corruption be breaking news? They say breaking news because they are shifting the focus from Ramaphosa. This country, if it is to follow Stratcom and Ramaphosa Defense Force, by the time you wake up, it will be too late. Ramaphosa is deep in it. Deep in it. Let Bidvest also be subjected to Bosasa process. You'll be shocked. Let Bidvest be subjected to the State of Capture Commission as well. Ramaphosa says in Parliament, unprovoked, no one asked him that question. He says, my son has got a contract with Bosasa. I've went through the contract, satisfied myself. He did this consultancy and all and all and all. No problem. Later on, Ramaphosa comes and says, I was talking about a wrong contract. That one is something else. This is what I was referring to. Remember the contract he spoke about. Both the son and Bosasa denied. They said there's no such a contract. Meaning the president lied in Parliament. Now Ramaphosa says, leave that one. I was not talking about that. I was talking about the donation in the foundation. Bosasa comes and says, which donation? We don't know what you are talking. Even the new explanation, it's a lie. President said he will pay back the money, 500,000 from Bosasa. Ferrell, through close proximity, ask for proof of payment or deposit slip with a bank stamp that shows he has paid back the money to Bosasa. It can't just be, we'll pay back the money and then it's quiet. ANC said it will pay back VBS money. Where is the proof of payment from the ANC? They said, yes, we received money from VBS. It's a corrupt money. We don't want it. We'll pay it back. Why is there no one asking the ANC, which has admitted that it has received the money? Where is the proof of payment? We want to circulate it for public to see that indeed you have paid back the money. So both Ramaphosa ANC has not paid back the VBS money. Ramaphosa has not paid back the so-called 500,000 Bosasa money back. That's fine. Now, let's go back to Ramaphosa answer in Parliament, where he says there is a contract and all that. Can the president release the contract of the son and Bosasa? Even if that he was answering a wrong question. Now we are asking that question. Can the president produce a contract? Remember, according to Stratcom and Ramaphosa defense team, Ramaphosa is this, he's a nice guy, he's transparent, he's clean. Let the clean man, again we're all corrupt, let the clean man produce a contract between his son and Bosasa, a contract which he has seen with his naked eye. He's got no doubt about that contract. Even though it was a wrong answer to a wrong question, fine, we want that, we are follow-upping on that answer. Give us the contract. Ramaphosa, the transparent man, the lovey-doving of all the media, including everyone else who has said Moses Mabhida, saying Ramaphosa has filled up a stadium, not saying the ANC. And then Zuma to expose them later and said, thank you, my supporters, as Ramaphosa addressing Zuma supporters. They said Ramaphosa filled up the stadium, not even the ANC. Ramaphosa is being shifted away from the ANC. Little did they know that it was Zuma supporters, which were thanked later by Jacob Zuma. So I'm saying, and I'm pleading with you and the whole of South Africa, let us not fall for fake news and unnecessary propaganda. The EFF has always been open. We said, give us the proof. Now, Ferial, I challenge you. I challenge Polifan Vig. Can you do like Agrizzi? Show us the picture. Show us the video. Show us a receipt. Agrizzi is not playing games, sister. He's attacking with he's unleashing. He speaks. He takes from the file. He unleashes. So don't just talk. Unleash. Agrizzi so far has done a better job than yourselves. Agrizzi is much better than so-called investigative journalism. He is a criminal himself. Let's not forget that. He's a big criminal himself. But you know how mafias operate. There's no honor amongst thieves. He's exposing them. They will expose him too. But we are happy that they are exposing the leaders of the African national corruption, including Ramaphosa, because we've been telling you about this Ramaphosa. So we are going back to Parliament. If Cyril thinks he's going to do what Zuma has been doing to that Parliament, we'll treat him the same way we've treated Zuma. Yes. Yeah. We're going to do that. Remember, we have no problem with Zuma. Remember, we have no problem with Cyril. We have no problem with anyone. But once you treat that Parliament like it's a toilet where you can just come and dump your nonsense, you'll find us there. We're not going to allow that. You cannot lie to Parliament with impunity in the presence of the EFF. That's what we're saying to Ramaphosa. And we're saying to him, don't wait for State of the Nation address. Put us at ease now. We say this now because we don't want, when we start in Parliament, some empty heads say, yeah, look at them, they've started what, when? Agrizzi was saying to you now, let Ramaphosa address the state about his involvement with Bosasa before we go to Parliament. Before, we are giving him an opportunity. Before, we are not even saying in Parliament. We are not asking for special sitting. We are saying, let a press conference of this nature be called where questions will be asked freely. Not those things of addressing and then from there disappearing. No, he must take questions, and critical questions must be asked. So that's how SONA is going to be dealt with, Malumi. It's going to be about Ramaphosa behaving differently from Zuma. You behave like Zuma, you get Zuma treatment. Because the treatment was not for Zuma, was for all constitutional delinquents. Once you lie to Parliament, you shall be treated like a constitutional delinquent. Political party bill is more than welcomed. We are ready. Yeah. We have always been ready. The founding manifesto of the EFF actually speaks about that. Yeah. That all parties must disclose their funders. We absolutely have no problem. Let's remind you what was our problem with the bill. The problem was when it says no member of a political party shall receive a donation. So a member of a political party can receive a donation in his individual right. As long as it doesn't say I'm receiving a donation on behalf of the political party. So you can't say individual members can receive donation. They've got a constitutional right to receive a donation from all well-wishers. Even if they do so not on behalf of the party, is their own donation, they will declare it at SARS and they will have to pay a donations tax on it. But if they insist that they want to proceed like that, fair enough. We have no money to waste because the second option is to take them to court. But when we take that clause to court, you, members of the media, are going to say EFF is taking the political party funding bill to court because they don't want their funds to be disclosed, distorting us deliberately. So we're leaving it. I release. Any individual who gets a Christmas present or donation like that as an individual and get punished, maybe that person will have the appetite to take it on review so that it can be declared, just that part, unconstitutional. Otherwise, the whole body is proper and fine, it's solid. Yeah. We are more than ready. We we declare our funds through Parliament. We take our statement to Parliament, by the way, which is available for public scrutiny, because anything to Parliament, it's public. So we welcome it. And with this bill, we had wished it came early. Because if it came early, there was not going to be Siyanqoba rally of the ANC. Hey, where will the money come from? Because the ANC survives through dodgy money. They even bring money from outside South Africa, blood money from outside South Africa. That's how the ANC survives. They do that. So this will stop Siyanqoba rally, will compete properly as poor people. Now they are saying, hey, why when you have support do you go to a small stadium? Firstly, our going to Soshanguve is inspired by Zimbabweans. If you look at the rallies of Zimbabweans, both ZANU-PF and MDC, they are held in open fields in the villages where people are. This thing that we must not go where people are, it's wrong. You can only go to them when they've got a stadium. Then it means there will only be FNB and Orlando, which gets an opportunity to host people's rallies. It's wrong. So first and foremost, we are going to where people are. We want to do away with these traditional stadiums of holding big rallies. Let's hold rallies where people are, because it gives us an opportunity to get a clear exposure to the realities that our people are subjected to, particularly in the townships of Gauteng. That's why we chose a giant stadium in Soshanguve. Secondly, brothers and sisters, fellow South Africans, to host a rally in FNB is not less than 1 million, a venue alone. 1 million. How much we paid SG for Orlando Stadium? And we negotiated? Yeah. So we paid when we went to Orlando 1.7. We negotiated from 2 point something. So you can imagine FNB. And you comrades in the media can do it on your own, because you simply call and ask for quotation. I'm asking for a quotation, they will give it to you. It's extremely expensive to hold a rally in FNB. You pay more than 2 million for an empty stadium. You have not brought people. You must go and get a sound system which can operate in an indoor type of an arena, not just a sound system of Samuel. You were talking about black entrepreneurs, my brother. Not a single one of us has got that sound system which can operate in FNB Stadium without echo and feedback. Now you are talking about what? Gear house. Now, once you go into gear house, you know how much you are going to pay. In FNB and Orlando Stadium, you can't go inside without hiring a pitch cover. A pitch cover is more than $1 million. But why issue? I'm still talking about gathering resources to have a rally. In giant stadium, there is no pitch cover. They don't want it. So why must I go and spend 1 million when I can spend 1 million in transporting EFF supporters all over? We don't have that money. That's why we chose the stadiums we chose. Because first, we want to be with our people, but secondly, it is cost effective to hold a rally where our people are. Because half of what you are looking for will come walking. My brother, unemployment, business, young entrepreneurs, we invite you to come to the EFF dinner on the 1st of February at Sheraton Hotel. You asked a very important question. You shall enter without buying a table. For you, it's free. Just come and hear the EFF plans in the manifesto. We've got a plan on how jobs are going to be created. We dedicate a lot of time on how we're going to create jobs in South Africa. Very comprehensive plan on jobs, on young entrepreneurs, black entrepreneurs. That's what we'll be dealing with on the first, and more broader detail will be given on the second at Giant Stadium. Unemployment, support of young entrepreneurs, black people. It's a thorny issue in the EFF. It pains us, the levels of unemployment. Even when the youth try to create their own opportunities, they do not have collateral, banks do not help them. All those type of things, we know them. We'll outline how we're dealing with them on the second. Bobi Wine is an enemy of the old man in Uganda there. Museveni. Museveni firstly must go and rest. And rest all his oversized suits as well. Because it's a big problem. The man must just go. Bobi Wine is an inspiration. Bobi Wine is like Nelson Chamisa. We never said we don't agree with Chamisa's politics. Ideologically, we disagree. But the ability of the young to stand up is an inspiration to us. That's what we exist for as the EFF. We want to inspire the youth. We want to inspire Africans to challenge the status quo. So Bobi Wine is a brother to us. We want him to fight more, and he must never be discouraged by the old man. Age is on his side. He must know that even if he doesn't win against this dictatorship, nature will resolve his problem soon. He doesn't have a problem at all. He must soldier on. If he can't defeat him through using the state institutions and democratic processes, nature will resolve the man. There is no any old man who's going to win against the youth. I told Zuma that. I said to him, what you don't know is that we have time on our side. You will be watching us on TV, sitting at home in the villages there looking after cattle, when we'll still be running here. We're still running. For sure, Makanda Kanda is watching today, wherever he is. We're still running the show. I told him, why? We've got age on our side. Bobi Wine has got age on his side. We agree with him. Museveni, a friend of Cyril Ramaphosa, by the way. Museveni is a friend of Cyril Ramaphosa. Your friends will define you, by the way. Ramaphosa's friend, Museveni, who gave him those cattle. What do they call them? Uncle cattle. Now they're in-laws. No, they are not in-laws. That young man married in Uganda, and then Museveni went to the wedding because of, firstly, the courtesy of presidents, but secondly, because they are friends. They know each other. Museveni writes about it, that I've known this guy for some time. I even gave him cattle. So, Bobi Wine, soldier on, young man. Victory is certain.
Thank you. Let's attend the second round. Okay, number one, number two. Let me start. Number one, number two, number three. Then no one else at the back of the camera.
No.
Number four, sister. And then number five. This may very well be the last. So I'm going to give you 1, 2, go. Number one.
So, the clearly for members of Asia going to Parliament, as in fact I've seen those and managed to gather seats to the top 50 of those who leave to Parliament. I know that the EFF has called for Minister to put down as well as Martin Diamini and no others. What would the EFF do if the managed to gather is put like Parliament by the ANC?
Number two.
Shadia from the Daily Box. Mr. Malema, I have two questions. My first question is, I'm sure you've seen the posters that the DA has been putting up in the Western Cape, registered to vote to keep the ANC and the EFF out of the Western Cape. How do you feel that your metro partner is trying to keep you out of another province? My second question is, the land party is another defection from the EFF. This, I think, besides BLS is the second. How does the EFF feel about this new defection?
Which?
The land party.
Land.
What is that?
It's, they're launching on Friday.
You know it?
I don't know it, President. What do you want about it?
Are you phased about this new defection?
Okay.
Number 3, we don't know the land part.
Good afternoon. My name is Belan Pahadi. I'm from News 24. CSC, I just wanted to know, I've been in some of your consultations across the country. I just wanted to know if you think they've been fruitful. Have you been able to get what is it that you wanted from these particular consultations, looking ahead into the manifesto? And the second question is, are you assuring your voters that the EFF leadership is united, looking at previous reports of divisions and also taking into consideration your then tweets on backstabbing and traitors? Thank you.
Number 4. Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm Angelo from Power 987 News. Just a comment on the recent occurrences in Zimbabwe, starting from the fuel hike, and particularly South Africa's announcement that it is in discussions with the World Bank and other lenders that it will help Zimbabwe get out of debt.
Thank you.
5.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, okay. Alvin Supi again from ENCA. At the beginning of the year, there was a lot of discussion around your relationship, Mr. Malema as well as Mr. Flochibambu. How would you describe the relationship that you guys currently have? Mr. Malema, in the tweet that you once sent out, in, I think it was the first week of Jan, you said that the EFF members should tighten their seatbelt. What were you referring to, and which betrayal, where did the betrayal come from that you were referring to? And then on the issue of Tswane, why is the EFF taking such a subtle posture when it comes to the city manager, Musola? Because there are accusations leveled against Musola, but the EFF is not coming out to take a stance on Musola's capacity to run the municipality. What does the EFF believe that Musola is running the municipality as it is supposed to be run, as the manager of that municipality?
That was number 5. Okay, it's the lady in the camera, President.
Oh, sure.
Hi, CFC, Zama from AFP. I wanted to touch on the Patrick Karegeya case and how Patrick Karegeya case, former Chief of Intelligence of Rwanda, the Randburg Magistrates Court declined the inquest because the South African investigators and the police have been delaying prosecuting the suspects for 5 years. I just wanted you to share your views on what you think that is knowing that the suspects are known and possibly linked to the Rwandan government.
Thank you, President. That's all.
Well, thank you very much. With regard to the Rwandan case, which at some point our relationship with South Africa affected somehow with Rwanda, we have been closely monitoring the case, and we were actually excited when we saw it coming before the courts after such a long time, because for us every element of criminality must be punishable, particularly if that crime is committed within our own country. The South African law enforcement is supposed to act, and when it involves such high-profile people, you ought to put proper qualified individuals who will not compromise the investigations. Sometimes we are too hard on the presiding officers, be it the judges or magistrates, but not much work has been done to ensure that we get quality when it comes to investigation, not to compromise the entire case. It's an interesting case that we are actually assigning some people to pay a closer attention to it and see what role can we play to help, particularly the family of the deceased, because here it looks like we're fighting the powerful. If the Rwandan government is involved, the family, surely it can't defeat a state. It will need some form of support. But also that the Rwandan government has sent people into our country. If that is also true, it's a problem for us because it undermines the sovereignty of our country. It undermines the security of South Africa, and therefore it's not just a small matter that can be left unattended to. We'll indeed come closer to the space and see what role can we play to make sure that justice is served. Tshwane MM, you know, the only crime the MM of Tshwane committed is when he exposed unqualified white people in that municipality. Yes, yes. You don't do that. Lily, now you must never take a chance at work. When you see an unqualified white person, write anonymous letter or something. Don't bring your face. You know who you must ask if you doubt. Ask the EFF. They questioned they questioned Steinhazen. Yes. All white people came together in defense of Steinhazen, including the professors. What's wrong with Metric? That's a white person again. Malema would work. Yo. Would work. All white people joined by black people of 702. Hey, they went on attack. When it's white, they close ranks. Remember that. You doubt it, ask EFF with regard to Steinhazen. You will know what is whiteness and the benefits of whiteness. Mosola committed a crime, chief. He exposed an unqualified white person. They went for him. We had a meeting with the DA leadership, and we outlined the process on how the tenders get to work. So they say this guy is involved in a scandal of, what is that company? Glad Africa, right? We say no, but tenders of this magnitude, they go to a committee called MEICO. And MEICO is chaired by the mayor. If this guy must go, the mayor must also go. So the mayor is gone, but the mayor is not gone on the account of the Glad Africa scandal. The DA must take responsibility. If there is corruption in the scandal, the DA must take responsibility. Because that guy is not just a mayor, he's the executive mayor. When he says no, it stops. When he says yes, it goes. So now when it favors the DA, they say no, go after the MM. They go after the city manager because the city manager exposed white unqualified people. The white caucus since that day was never happy with that guy. They tried everything on him. And I'm not going to be party to some agenda which seeks to discredit a person who exposed unqualified person who was earning the money, millions in that municipality. Till today, I'm told that person is not fired formally. They're still on some leave or some suspension or something like that. Imagine if it was a black person who was on some special arrangement, still earning money, what was going to happen? That's Mosola's crime, to expose unqualified white person. If you doubt that, ask the EFF about Steinhazen. They will teach you lesson whites. You touch one of their own. Yes, you'll never see the light of the day. Now, Zimbabwe, we agree. Actually, South Africa must contribute towards the bailout of Zimbabwe. Anyone who refuses that, he's dumb. Yeah. Because if you don't help Zimbabweans, the border is going to be flooded by them. And anyone who's going to block them from coming into South Africa, we're going to fight with that person. So you are always complaining, hey, there's Zimbabweans here, hey, the only way not to have them is by helping them in their own country. Zimbabwe must be helped. Yeah. SADC countries, we need to come together, we need to close ranks, we must give conditional grant to the Zimbabweans. Yes. And it must be grant that is dedicated to developmental programs which will help Zimbabwe to stand on its own. A weaker Zimbabwe leads to a weaker SADC region. We need Zimbabwe. Even if we don't have money, those who know English will translate to you. So the little we have as Africans, we need to share and stop being greedy. Otherwise, we're setting this Zimbabwe up for IMF and World Bank bailouts, and you know what happens. Or we're setting them up for the Chinese, who are now gradually proving to be extremely hostile, where they even take now assets of countries which are unable to pay them back. Let's not put Zimbabwe under such a situation. We are Zimbabwe, Zimbabweans are us. We are one thing. Their problems is our problem. Every time when you enjoy food here, you say, hey, look after your neighbors. Hey, make sure your neighbors are all well off. Hey, but here is our neighbor here. Is suffering. Who are you to say we must not help our neighbor if we really care about ourselves as Africans? We're becoming a laughing stock all over the world because one of our own is swimming in a pool of debt and we're unable to provide them a conditional grant which must not end up in the hands of ZANU-PF politicians. Yes. Some nonsense wrote me an email and said, yeah, we ZANU-PF, we support you. You don't understand what's happening here. And now you are saying these things you are saying about the soldiers. I said, I don't care whether ZANU-PF support me or no. I don't care about ZANU-PF. What is ZANU-PF? ZANU-PF is ANC. Same thing. I don't care about ZANU-PF. I'm not married to ZANU-PF. I have no relationship with ZANU-PF. None whatsoever. I care about the people of Zimbabwe. Anyone who unleashes soldiers on innocent and armed people, you have declared those people the enemy of the state. You are a fool. You don't deserve my respect. Yeah. If I allow it to happen in Zimbabwe, it will happen here in South Africa. It's unacceptable. Whether it's done by Mnangagwa, whether it's done by Mugabe, it's unacceptable. Mnangagwa must know that. It's unacceptable to beat up people, to break cell phones of people, to shut down internet. It's unacceptable. It's barbaric. In 2019, you've got a leader that shut down internet and shut down social media. That's so backwardness. It's unacceptable. Mnangagwa must know that. We're not happy with that development. We want to help Zimbabwe. We want the sanctions gone. We want a bailout for Zimbabwe. But we're not going to support the tyranny, the brutalization of our people. That will never allow. We had too much hope in the new Zimbabwe. We're so happy for our people in Zimbabwe. But what we saw in the past few days is scary. Scary. So Mnangagwa must know that we don't just support people here. Allow the people to have the right to protest. You increase petrol, they must march. You do all types of things they are not accepting, they must march. It is their right. Mnangagwa must be very careful of that Chiwenga. Is it Chiwenga? The deputy president. That military style of leadership, if it's advocated for by Chiwenga, who is a former army general, and want to convert Zimbabwe into a dictatorship, he must know he doesn't have a friend in us. We are no friends with dictators. We don't want that at all. We want good for the Zimbabweans. The EFF manifesto is a product of consultations with our people. All important elements that were raised by our people are captured in that manifesto. In writing and drafting that manifesto, we've had to go back and replay the videos and listen again once more to what people have said in those consultations. And they are going to be very happy to see their voices well captured and represented in the manifesto. Many of them, they will even think they are the ones who have written that manifesto, because they will just see themselves in the manifesto of the EFF. It speaks to the demands, the issues of the people. It locates where problems are and provide an immediate solution. The EFF manifesto does not have a 30-year solution. The longest is 3 years. We want to do it when we are still in government and go. We don't want to set plans that are unrealistic and we know we can't achieve them. We just say them for the sake of saying them. A completely different from the rest of other political party manifestos. It's not promises, it's commitment. It's a specific place, a specific project, a specific target date, so that people can hold us to it, not job opportunities, not those type of things, specific program. This is so many jobs which can be created in this area by creating this. That's what we're dealing with when we present our manifesto. A breakaway. I think we must redefine. And Vox, is it Vox?
Daily Vox.
Daily Vox writes mainly about university issues. And therefore you'll expect it to actually understand the phrases and concepts much better. Breakaway. So you said it's the second breakaway from the BLF, right?
The EFF.
From the EFF, yeah. But BLF was the first breakaway, yes, according to Daily Vox, of universities, right? How do you break away when you are no longer a member? Because COPE was a breakaway. It was formed by ANC members who were inside, who broke away. So Mketamo was not an EFF member when he formed BLF. We are not a breakaway of the ANC. We were not members of the ANC when we formed the EFF. Therefore, we can't be a breakaway. Politics 101. So we can't be a breakaway, as it were. So there's no breakaway from our members. I wouldn't talk about Land Party. I don't know it. So I don't know whether they are members or they are not members. Where are they located? I don't know them. I've not heard of such a thing. The DA has been insulting us big time. Firstly, it called us VBS looters. You know, we're not partners, by the way. Again, Daily Vox. Partners also gets to be defined different. So, we're not partners. The people makes it possible for you to have power. You must have some decency when you deal with them. Like, can we have a meeting with the EFF to understand where does this VBS thing come from, so that when we take a position, we understand each other. No, they just call us names and insult us like that. Yet, we vote for them in municipalities. They say, stop ANC and ANC and EFF. But there's no ANC and EFF. If anything, for someone who's confused, they must say DAEFF, because again we are giving them votes. That confusion will be justifiable. ANC, EFF, what now? And then after putting those posters, they are going to come to us and say, let's vote together in Tshwane municipality. After insulting us like that, and then you South Africans will be saying, no, the EFF must vote with the DA, otherwise they are bringing ANC through a back door. Hey, vonyo. Aye, wait, man. We can't be insulted like that, and then we don't act on people who have just taken a posture. You know what DA did? Paid for SMS to send around telling people that EFF looted VBS money. Those are the people you must go and vote with. They did an automatic telephone voice. When you answer, do you know that EFF stole VBS money?
Well,
DA did that. And then they say Solimu Simang is going to be a premier. Where? With whose help? How? Cease. You know the arrogance of white people. They just think that because they are white, we will just vote for them. We don't have any option. Even if you remain inferior to them, it doesn't matter how good you do to them. That's DA's attitude towards the EFF. But no problem. Because there's going to be problems. They must know that. We have a problem with NSFAS. We received a lot of cases. NSFAS is rejecting students, some of them who qualified last year. No proof has been provided that the parents of those kids have received or got a job. Yet they are still they are being rejected. So we want to warn NSFAS and the universities to admit every deserving student, particularly the students who are poor. Otherwise, the EFF Student Command is combat ready. We are not going to allow any deserving student to be turned away through lies that are told by NSFAS that your parents are earning so much, your parents are working. Even when affidavits are provided, certified affidavits and all those type of things, still NSFAS is trying to reduce the number of students on their list through crooked means. The ANC said it's going to give people free education. We want it. They committed it. Now the students must see what the ANC is for. They just talk, no action. Zuma declared free education. ANC agreed with Zuma. First year they provided. Now the numbers have increased because they must pay for the second years and the first years. Now they want to remove the number of students through illegal means. We're not going to agree with that. Universities, be warned, we're not going to agree with that. All deserving students walk into the universities. Go and register. As long as your parents are not working, as long as you are poor, as long as you passed with flying colors and you are qualifying to be in the university has accepted you, they can't exclude you on the basis of money. Be ready, South African students. It looks like there will be action very soon. We are not going to allow the turning away of any student by this kleptocratic government of the ANC, which spends money on politicians and destroys the poor. Malusi Gigaba is not only Malusi Gigaba on the list. Nomvula is there, up there. Gweda is up there. Mapisa Ngagula is up there. Batabile is up there. Every crook you can think of is up there. And then Stratcom and the Ramaphosa Defense Force will say, a new dawn. A new dawn. A new dawn with a list led by crooks. Leave, imagine it in your mouth. Leave him alone. There are so many others on that list, crooks, who are on the list. Crooks. Some of them, public protector has just found them to be guilty of receiving corruptions and bribes and all that. They are on the list. But worse is that none of them is before the so-called integrity committee. We were told, hey, there's integrity committee, New Dawn is fighting corruption. Why are these crooks not before the integrity committee? But lastly, when people were mentioned in the VBS report, they were told to resign. Why are the Bosasa mentioned not told to resign? Because the VBS, there was no criminal case, there was no disciplinary hearing. People in the ANC were mentioned in VBS were told to resign. Why is Bosasa mentioned people not told to resign? It's because the president of the New Dawn is mentioned. There are laws for these ones and laws for those ones. That's your state of politics in South Africa. You have to wake up. We must not allow SANEF, must not allow Ramaphosa Defence Force, must not allow Stratcom to create rules for others and rules for other people. We must all be subjected to the same rules. If the requirement is such that if you are mentioned, you don't qualify to stand, they must all step down, including the president, because it's mentioned in Bosasa. Let there be consistency. Let Bistvest go to State of Capture Commission. Let Investec, which Pravin has got an office in, go to State Capture Commission. There is a long list of people and companies that are dominating South Africa's economy, which are giving politicians bribes, and they are not before the State Capture Commission. You know why? Because they are white. It's white companies. Once they are white companies, they are allowed to dominate. I see these fools line up in there calling themselves black business people who are line up in dinners of the ANC, donating monies for the ANC, when the ANC criminalizes every black person who's got a tender. Yet white companies are not criminalized. Anyone, if you go and get a tender from a dominant company and you are a black person, you got it through corruption, according to Ramaphosa ANC, which is sympathetic to the white business, controlled by white business. Black people who claim to have money, they are still lining up in there. All of them have been painted corrupt. Any business person, let's take the Fleet Company in Johannesburg. It got a tender from Avis. No, it's corrupt, it's linked to EFF. But if that tender is received by Avis, it's a white company, there's no problem. That's how it works here in South Africa under Cyril Ramaphosa. Every black business person must wake up now. You get a tender under Cyril's government, you are corrupt because Daily Maverick, Scorpio will paint you corrupt. They work with him, by the way, because they work with Pravin. Pravin has called for funding of Scorpio and Daily Maverick. They work with Ramaphosa. Any black person who gets a tender away from a white person, you are corrupt, according to the definition of Cyril and Pravin's government. So we need to deal with that. Now, the last one. I tweet, you know that Twitter account? It's mine. I control it myself. Sometimes I tweet at 2 o'clock. After having, you know. It's mine. It's not EFF. EFF closes at 4:30 or 5. Mine doesn't close. I'm tweeting there my things. And then when you write a huge article, that time my wife made me angry. Me, I won't take betrayal myself. There's a division in the EFF. When I write about my own personal stuff, on my personal account, the levels of degeneration, Adrian, in the media is so painful. I saw it yesterday when Reddit Club made a sarcasm and it became news. You can't even joke. Once you joke, headline. You can't even appreciate. Once you say, Bonam Mateba, oh, nice outfit. Malema has congratulated Bonam Mateba. We can't do anything. We're stuck like that. Yet we must have Twitter accounts. Yet we must show the human side of us so that people can appreciate that our leaders are human too. We're not political animals. When I tweet, hey, Dalimpof is going with Jimmy Man. No, then the Dalimpof is not working. Floyd Shibambo is going with Jimmy Man. I found a picture what do you call it, Mbuzi and Mimi, with knives at the back. It was so appetizing, you know. Let me fool around. You calls I received. Are you fine? It's Fred Gui. And then they give me a picture of Floyd with Jimmy Mani shaking hands. A picture that was taken in what do you call that thing of Jimmy Mani? BMF. Because there are a lot of B's now, you'll call a wrong B. BMF. Floyd, that was which year? 2016, somewhere there. You don't even verify the picture. This treaty of knives is with this picture, they are together. And then there's another one of a snake. Friends this side, and then a snake this side. I put that one. 10 years challenge. Because, hey, my 10 years pictures are different. I can't put pictures. But I want to participate in the challenge as well. So I find something interesting. Let me also contribute in it. Hey! Who's the snake?
It's over.
Who's the snake? The EFF is finished. Hey. EFF had a list conference, chose 200 candidates to parliament without a drop of blood, without chairs flying, without anyone beating up anyone. We had 850 delegates under one roof. We had 1,001 candidates on a ballot paper. All of us were subjected to secret ballot. And I won. I'm number 1. That's the only result you can get. I was subjected to that myself. When other leaders were saying, no, don't use the secret ballot, the leadership must choose, I said, why are you scared? Let's use a democratic process, even when we've got the power to take a final decision. But let's have a sense of what our membership want. That was a list conference, by the way, 5 times bigger than the elective conference of COPE, which elected Terra unopposed. So, if there were divisions, you would have seen them there. Now we're done first part. The second program is the dinner. After the dinner, the third program is the rally. I want to be shown this division you are talking about. Our Treasurer General was on leave, sick leave. Went through a medical procedure. She is still recovering from that. But because of your tweets, hey, division. She was even told, we were told she's suspended. When we announced very clearly that she's going for medical procedure, we're told she's expelled, suspended, and all of that. Why? You are all looking for something negative, hoping to find something to destroy the EFF with. Let me tell you, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yes, sir.
Quickly follow up.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it during the build-up?
Because you jump so quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, no.